It also means no Northwest Island for this particular game of Tago. But yeah, something a little bit different. You got the marshland as well in the sort of middle point. As for Reluctant Squad, E-Arena, and Cerber Palace, of course, on this Northwest Island. And John will lose his life to Jacob. Reluctant Squad has been one of the quiet teams in the bottom three at the moment. Just the 8 points and trying to take this fight back. A Panzerfaust will get rid of High. Long High cops the brunt of it as well on that fence. 6, 7, 8, 9 still driving towards this fight. Maybe not worth it anymore, though, as the rest of his team has been wiped out. An easy 3K for E-Arena to kickstart Tago.
Damn. E-Arena pissed off with what happened in the previous game. They want to make sure they remedy that as quickly as possible. Put a stop to it. The M249, what a gun to use on rotating plays. He's got the bolt as well. He's got to be very careful, though. Pure Boy's going to open it up.
Yeah, nice shot from Pure Boy. Jane will go down even with the M249. Shanks can't get involved in this higher ground position. They're all just roaming down below in these vehicles, and Shanks doesn't even know really who to shoot at or if he should shoot at anyone. Game has not been finished off just yet, but they make their way through the bridge. The roadblock has been penetrated. E36 can get themselves across, but they have still not been able to get themselves a kill. James is going to get revived. They weren't able to get that
edge. No one dead center. Everyone's sitting around the edge of this zone. And this is one of those zones, Jake, that the center, you look at it, it's just incredibly open. I think it's like a 400-meter stretch of just complete open space.
Yep. And then you've got the fields as well, south of Fishing Camp, that don't really offer a whole lot. You do have the tents that you can play out of. Remember, actually, this was a game that Bliss had a good match in on this kind of circle back in the PCR. They've got a 2-2 split right now on the western side. Everyone rotating around them as the marshlands are going to get vacated. RXC to backfill into Hosan Prison, but imagine it'll only be a pit stop if they do. North ahead of it, they need to go. Tags here from Larynx, and so much so gets the knock on Endurance. Yeah, nice shots. That's why you always got to back yourself in. If you don't shoot those shots, you're not going to get that knock, and you're not going to get the points if you can go for the flush. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. Isaki trying to maybe see if he can be the one to benefit. Imas will get one onto Flash, and then obviously Larynx to get the other onto Durance. Not the best of starts for day trade here on Tago. It's a shocker. Down to 2 now for them. The GPT teams that started well in Erangel, but just starting to fall down the leaderboard a little bit here by the 4th game of the night.
I'd hate to see complacency from day trade as well. Obviously, being a GPT team puts you in a very unique position that only 9 other teams have. And I'm not going to say that it put their best foot forward and not let the opportunity slip, and they can't really afford to. Again, PGC points on the line, so they have to be as immaculate as possible. But Unicorn Cyber, with a very quick drive-by, puts an end to day trade's Tago. 0 points on the trot. And they sit in 8th, remain in 8th. E-Arena probably wanted a little bit more from that, hoping one of Unicorn Cyber was knocked out of the car. But Unicorn Cyber have done them a little bit of a favor. They've stopped to loot up the bodies of Day Trade, and in doing so, Larynx has popped a couple tires. That car is now out of action. Does that cause any distress for Unicorn Cyber? They obviously came here in 3 or 4 cars, so they've got backup to use. But what kind of delay does this cause for them, and does E-Arena capitalize on it?
Yeah, and that's probably been the testing point for E-Arena so far tonight. Now into the 4th game. Capitalization. So many times they've been involved, they've been in good positions. You know, they've got 4 kills here. Good game, 4 up. How much more can they really get from this position in this match of Tago? Good high ground position. Unicorn Cyber down below to look at. These are the kind of games where
I think one of their options is just to send it into the field and start bunkering down, use the cars as cover. I mean, it's one of those kind of spots where on edge you can make it work if you want to go that way, but Roy's in front of them. Roy's going to put a stop to at least Suspect. Trick knocked down as well. Suspect flushed, same with Trick actually, and so rotations coming in here. We're going to see a lot of members lost. 1 from each team is probably likely, just the way that the circle has panned out. That 2-2 split from Team Bliss, I think it's necessary that it stays the way it does. I feel like they have too much space to end up giving away. Nice shots from Duck Juice. Savior down. The Expendables. Is this finally a game where they show up and show us what they can do when they're actually on form? Got some bowls to play with. It looks like, though, when they peek over those ridges, they are put on notice. Magnetic from super far away with the Dragunov's mortar as well. They've got information on where that bowl is. Do they choose to actually use that mortar? Because if they do, you can see how little space the Expendables have. There's only 2 players there at the moment, but if I'm correct in assuming that bowl is very small, that mortar could be very deadly.
Yeah, very well could be.
It turns out that's not the case.
Yeah, I think also this circle shift probably actually helps a little bit more than had it gone to the fields. The fields itself would have been probably far more open than the terrain on this western side, as Kane's going to get knocked away. FAP, still more to come. I mean, the initial rotational shift is one thing, but then you've got the backfillers, the teams that were very much on the edge. Delzil, that's going to be a freebie onto Kane. Still no point for E36. And instead of maybe just trying to find a kill here or there, hopping into a vehicle, driving away, it's going to be proving to be difficult. You've got a massive road that you have to work through as well towards that northern side. And E36 are just going to send it. They might just get wiped out here, Ross. I think they could be on for another 0-point game into the fourth match of the night. XK's down, Pure Boy's gone. Only one up at the moment, and it is Sylvia, who has made it towards the more central point of this circle. Still alive for now.
Yeah.
Not getting shot at. May have found a safe haven as James knocked down by Payne.
I think he has. I think Sylvia's found something to play with at least. Everyone else is going to be too focused on their own difficulties as well to want to allocate resources to a solo that's just going to be proning for the rest of the game. So Sylvia might be able to land themselves some placement points this game. Everyone's going to be fighting around the edges of that hillside as well. No one's going to, dive into the center unless it's a desperate team from the edge. And so if no one does that, I feel like Sylvia's a sure shot for a top 8. This hill's going to become very contested though. FTF are going to have to struggle to fight on the eastern side. Cerberus from afar. FTF need to find spots where they can just kind of sit, hold angles. Once Cerberus pull up, then they can shoot them out of their cars. Ensure that they start that fight off with the advantage. I mean, they're the ones holding. FTF, there's no way FTF shouldn't so outside the zone. X-Men in front of them. You're right. There's just not enough space in this zone for 14 teams to fit.
Yeah, FTF down to 3, but I like their position. Very much still a game that they can, I think, pick up some very big and valuable points. Thunder's just able to stand still there and get that revive onto him. Still will be up for Magnetic, spotting off into the distance the Expendables. And very quiet so far tonight. One kill to begin on the move, though, up on that northern side. It's going to be a very tricky position to play out of here in this game of Tago. What can they do? Riz down to the blue. Not sure what's happened there. A little bit of a seat swap here. Flucky goes down. Same with Escalusia. And suddenly, X-Men are actually winning this fight against Magnetic. There's only one up at the moment for both of the two teams. Leo's going to go down. Shanks and Armory Gaming was able to finish them off as Magnetic, I think, will fall as well. Yes. Just momentarily after, but they both will go together in terms of X-Men and Magnetic. It's an early finish for Magnetic. Obviously, they're not going to be happy with this game after their Vikendi, which was, well, tremendous. It was a very good Vikendi. Second place, 12 points, and couldn't quite back it up here on Tago, unfortunately. For X-Men, 4 kills, at least got something from this start. And Akita with a frag grenade. So important for the mental for Team Bliss, just to get off of that donut. A knock onto Dynasty. We'll see if they can follow it up with the kill. It looks as if he's off into the distance, bleeding out. And so I think Team Bliss should be able to get their first point of the tournament. They will. Insight confirms that, and they're on the board.
Shot in the back though, Sapau. Oh, shot in the front, sorry. Not aware of the angle. Insight could actually go down, caught on the edge of blue. You can see his little player marker spinning around desperately. I don't think he's going to be able to live. Sapau confirms it. Shanks now the worry for Team Bliss. Cows in a car. This timing could be so bad for them if they're caught out. I like this spot from Monty. I really like this spot. He's providing a ton of information, giving the rest of his players on the north the ability to sit back and do their own thing, knowing that their back is entirely clean, but they've opted to come closer now to Monty, play more for the center of the zone. Expendables taking shots that just don't land. Shanks now the focus of the Expendables. Roy Esports down in 11th. Not a good game for the team in 7th. RXE making a desperate rotation. They actually run over Lete. No knocks on the members of RXE on that rotation. The rest of Valley Tide are desperately trying to recover this situation. E-Arena's here, though. Of course, E-Arena's here. They've been third-partying a ton this game. Valley Tide gone. RXE 3 knocked, though. How does that FAP actually get across to those 3 players? Look at that. He's so separated from his teammates. They're down and out. RXE on that rotation, not good enough, not clean enough to survive.
Yeah, Bliss are in a bit of trouble here with the now vision that E-Arena have onto their location. The same vision they've had basically on the rest of this lobby from this hillside. But it is now not going to be inside of the circle moving forward. A minute, 15 seconds left to do anything they want with this spot before they have to move forward a little bit. FTF as well, same for them, over towards that more eastern side of the hill. The Sapau finds a knock onto him as Akita continues to peek up. Only 1 gone at the moment for Team Bliss. Still 4 up for quite a few teams. The Arena Unicorn Cyber, along with the Expendables and Cerberus, if they can get that revive. A Simo knocked by Waiki Kamukau, and a chance here for Akita. Sabao standing still behind that rock. A good angle found. And suddenly Bliss starting to just flex their muscles a little bit, getting a bit of space towards this western side. That initial Monty push has paid dividends greatly.
You need Akita and Monty to start popping off. Cow and Insight, they're the old guards in this roster. They're the ones that will be sacrificing a lot to make sure that Monty and Akita can do what they do best, tap heads. This game looks like that's happening. Insight's life sacrificed for Akita and Monty to survive. Long range shots, stealing away kills. High mass down to a nade from Panic. Forgot about Panic. They've been sitting quite silently in that shack, but you always think when you see a team stacked up with 3 or 4 in a shack like this, it's only a matter of time before one nade finishes them all off. But they've actually put up a decent defense from that shack. Cerberus tried to push towards it with or without the information that there were players inside. FTF gone. Yeah, I mean, like you said, probably an underwhelming game from them. I don't think they got any kills, maybe 1 or 2. But for Panic, I think that shack, at least for the moment, it's been decent defense, right? Cerberus Rock, I feel like this is a Panic where they're sitting in that shack and they're just completely baiting. The shack door's closed, hoping that teams assume it's clear, and off the back of that, they net a couple kills, maybe even more from this off angle inside the shack.
Yeah, how was Tigger able to survive that little spin out moment? Blue Zone native to that shack. Panic. That might just cause them to get out of that position. Close by though, no one. It was a long range story from 777, and it does get one. And as they're forced out of the shack, Jacob able to fire, get the knock onto Dusky, and they are all able to get one onto Panic between the Expendables, Cerberus, and the E-Arena. Take your pick. They all get one. And that will send them out into 7th place. Izzy also getting one onto Sololzi. It's up to 11 kills now for E-Arena. Push in onto Vaisaki. He's going to go down to Larix. Larix actually ended up getting a TK onto Tigger. That's fine though. Although 777 close by, this could be an opportunity for the Expendables to now punish E-Arena's sloppiness. 777 with the AUG. They pushed forward, Molotov in the back pocket. No frag. In fact, there's 2 now found. This should be the end of E-Arena's game. 1 left up at the anchor position in Jacob. But those in front of him now will fall to the frag grenades of the Expendables. Jacob the solo. And what looked like maybe a short game for E-Arena has crumbled quickly.
Turns out that rock was just not the spot to be at all. Nice spray from 777. E-Arena, they wanted it. It was hard cover. It was next to maybe saving you. Tanvu on high, a little bit higher than Team Bliss, giving himself the advantage. Room to play with now for 777, but they've got to be careful. If they lose their heads, they lose a man advantage here. That'll be the worst possible way to close out this game. Look at the zone as well. Look at how much space the Expendables actually have to play with now, more so given that the zone's closed in on top of them. Tanvu's got a little bit of high ground terrain to utilize. That Solo and Shanks, it's not behind Tanvu, it's instead behind Team Bliss. Haven't really decided to clear their behind just yet. Don't blame them. Been super focused on what's been ahead of them. That could cost them in the end.
Well, I mean, it depends. Shanks, you know, this is the thing you say haven't cleared, but look at that bush, right? Even if Akita does a 180, looks behind him, he's not going to spot him. And I've been looking at the map stream, and Akita has kind of been looking a little bit like behind the likes of Monty and Cal. So they are doing their due diligence. It's just, well, you can't see him. That's going to be the nature of this game sometimes. Shanks is just very much still at that shack outside of the circle. In Bliss, more so together. Akita a little bit more behind. At any moment, though, Shanks, of course, can pop up. That will be such a bad moment for Bliss if it happens after they get the knock on the 777. There it is. There's that pop-up. Monty, immediate turnaround to see if he can maybe keep Akita alive, but no, not going to happen. Shanks now takes the position of Akita. Monty spots him with that 3 times as Tanvu will eventually get eliminated by Waiki Kamukau. I mean, at least top 4, 5 kills. Soon to be maybe 6. I'm not sure how that nade has done basically nothing to Monty. It's exploded right in his face. And into the bush goes Shanks. Blue zone nade should be good. No, it isn't. It hasn't cleared him out. And this is time wasted for Blitz. Yep. No longer getting good position. They do get the kills though. It does confirm them top 3.
Oh, reliable Monty. Able to win that 1v1. I think also Cal doing work as well. While Monty was taking that 1v1, gives Team Bliss so much more space to work with. But now it's a 4 versus 2. Unicorn Cyber, they've been waiting in the wings, waiting for their opportunity to claim this game as their own. And as soon as Team Bliss started fighting, as soon as the Expendables started fighting, as soon as Shanks popped up, it was always going to be Unicorn Cyber. They get their Tago win. It's